Hey everybody, it's Kim. Today I am going foraging for some food, and I'm going to head off to one of my favorite places down the road where I find my asparagus, because they have milkweed as well, and the milkweed flower should be about in bloom right now. It's been horribly dry, so I'm not so sure how that's going to go. But I wanted to show you, I had to come to a protected spot because the wind is really wicked today. Something else that I found, and I can literally find this just outside of my property, 10 feet away. Most people can identify them, and that is the common cattail. There's a couple of things that you can eat most of the cattail. Right now, because we have had no rain since April, we had a little bit last night, didn't even soak in the ground, I can't dig them. We have very heavy clay soil. But the one thing I can find is I cut these off right near the root. It's not going to harm the plant. They're going to come back next year. And you start peeling the leaves off. What you're looking for is that super tender center. Some of them are only a couple inches long, and some of them are really nice and long. They're very tender, very delicious, and you just keep getting rid of your outer leaves. Now this one is a little bit older, so I'm not so sure it has much there, but you could see a little bit right there. Very soft, very mild tasting. Okay, that one didn't have a whole lot. Probably needed to cut it down a little further. My cat's pulling at the other end. So let's try this one here. You want a nice fat stalk. And now I cut these because I took the tops off of them, and I'm going to show you those in a second here. But I'm going to look for that nice juicy center. And basically all I'm doing is stripping the leaves until I find the middle. And you'll know when you're there because it's very soft. I'm going to cut this one a little bit shorter since my cat's tugging at the other end and not making it easy for me. This one, it looks like it's going to have a decent one here. Just keep peeling it and you'll get to a very, see this core here? This one's a nice one. It's nice and long, and it's very white. But I don't want to lose any of it, so I'm going to go right down to the end here. And this is what I'm looking for, this white part right in the middle. This is a little bit not right. You can see it still needs to be peeled a bit, but when you find it, you'll know. It's still got a little bit more peeling to go. There we go. I think I finally get to the middle. When you bend it, and if it's still, kind of stiff, you're not quite far enough. But there's always like a core, and that's what I'm looking for. It's very tender. It's very mild. Nice and juicy. Ow, Louie. Sorry, don't mean to spit on camera, but I got a few fibers in there. Sorry, my cat's digging at my ankles. Oh, there it is. So good. You can eat it plain. You can cook with it. I got a couple extras because I'm going to make a stir fry, wild food stir fry later today. And I could put some in that. But it's very good. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of flavor to it, but if you're hungry or you want to add something free to your food stores, go ahead and get some cattail stems. This is where I cut it. Probably don't have much here. And the way I know it's too tough, see there's nothing in the middle here. Oh, there's a piece right there. Oh, there's some more. All right, I got to that center. See how nice that looks? Very tender, kind of juicy, and really delicious. The other thing, one of the main reasons I went today is I'm looking for the pollen. Now, this is the female part of the cattail. This is the part that gets big and brown and fuzzy. And this is the pollen. This is the male part of the flower. I like to pick them at this stage that it's not quite pollen to the tip, because in this wind, the pollen will easily shed off of here. So what I do, and I have a couple that are even more immature. Let me show you one more. This is more immature. I put them in a paper bag, and in a few days they'll mature enough. Now this one has the female part and the male part. Put them in a plastic paper bag, set them in the house where it's warm, and in a couple of days that yellow, they'll turn into a yellow flower, and it'll come off super easy. You barely breathe on it, and it comes off. And that's the part you want to save. And you can use that in recipes like pancakes. They are awesome. You barely need any syrup. You can use 1/3 to replace flour in your baking. You're going to get all those added vitamins and minerals. Of course, you have to be careful where you pick your cattails from. You don't want to go to a polluted area. But I live on a very few cars go up and down my road. I know what's in the ditches here, so I feel safe picking these. So I wanted to show you these before I head out to the asparagus patch to get the milkweed, and when I'm done with that, I'll show you what to do with that when I get home. Right, back at the car, I found one little tiny milkweed flower. I did pick up one bunch of mullein to make something that's for respiratory issues, and then I found one piece of asparagus. So I think I saw you could also make a tea out of the clover flowers. That's always nice. Once again, when you're foraging, make sure you can identify 100% what it is you want to use. If you're not sure, there's plenty of books out there and other information. And oh yes, it looks like I found one. The milkweed is really, really short this year. I'm going to go just a little further. I might have saw one more. Nope, that's not it. All right. Well, I found a second, at least a couple flowers from this milkweed here. Look at, it's got 3 nice little flowers we can add to our meal. Lots of buggies, they like them too. So let me get my pocket knife out here. I think I'm just going to cut that top off. I always leave the plant itself for the monarchs. Definitely don't want to touch that. But we are going to have a lot of other visitors here. Sorry you're so close. My tripod decided to get broken today. So there we go. That will add a nice touch to a stir fry for me. Yeah, I almost bought this piece of property. I wish I had, but I just didn't have the cash at the time. Boy, this has got a nice spot to harvest stuff. And once the if we get more rain tonight, hopefully we desperately need the rain, we will be able to come back and get some more milkweed really soon. And the asparagus should start putting up some new shoots as well. Oh wait, did I miss one? Is that mullein or milkweed? No, it doesn't have a flower on it, so. All right, back home we go. Right, I found quite a few of the little milkweed things, but as you can see, maybe, oh, my thumb is in the way, there are quite a few ants. So I have on the stove some salted boiling water, and I'm watching to make sure no ants get in my house. I've been squishing them, but you can see there's still quite a few on there. So I got some salted boiling water started, and I'm just going to plunge these for a few seconds. It'll kill off any bugs that might be in there, and then I'll be able to use them for my stir fry later. But I wanted to show you, I did find a couple more on the way home, so that'll be a nice little addition to a stir fry. All right, I'm trying to get you set up so you can see both steps of the process. Sorry, my dog wants to play. You can see I've got some really well boiled water there. And I'm just literally going to toss my flour tops in here just for a few seconds, just like you would blanch any vegetable. And that one little piece of broccoli, asparagus I found. That's going to kill any bugs. It's going to make sure that they're clean, obviously. And it also helps remove a little bit of that milk, that sticky milk sap. And then you go from there into some ice water. And that helps preserve the color. And again, there's no bugs or anything like that left on them. And I don't let them soak for very long. I'm just cooling them off. And then they're going to go on to paper towels to drain again. Then they're ready. I could put them in the refrigerator if I need to. I can get them kind of ready for whatever it is I'm going to use them in, and I don't have to worry about ants getting all over my kitchen or anything like that. So try to be prepared when you go foraging. You might want to come home and process them really quick. You know, things like this get lots of bugs. So this is one of the items. I found a little asparagus. I know I have some garlic scapes I picked a couple days ago. And I'm going to see if there's anything else I might be able to add to my stir fry. All right, I'm going to assume you want to know what the milkweed tastes like. To be honest, there isn't a whole lot of flavor. It's juicy. I don't know what to describe it like. Maybe a super mild asparagus. I don't know. Anyway, it's edible. Lots of nutrition. They're free if you go get them. And it's a good way to have a plant that you can identify easy when you first start foraging. Now I'm going to recommend that you get some really good foraging books. Let me go get a copy of the one I have. I have a couple, but this one is my newest one and I really like it. You guys know I live in Michigan, so you have to find a book that kind of has a lot of foods that's good for your region. The other one I have is mostly for the West Coast, the Pacific Northwest. There's a few things in it, but this one here, The Forager's Harvest, hope that's not backwards for you guys. The Forager's Harvest, a guide to identifying, harvesting, and preparing wild or edible wild plants by Samuel Thayer. This one is really good for those that live in the Midwest. It will have all kinds of things in it, including the milkweed that I was telling you about. Let's see what page that was on. And it goes in quite detail. It talks about different things that can be harvested. And we're starting with some of the flowers here. But you can harvest the flowers. You can harvest the shoots if you peel them. You can harvest the immature little seed pods that come out, and you eat the interior white part. It's called pre-silk. It's white and it's creamy. Of course, I don't have any of those yet to show you, but it's really, really nice to be able to go out, walk down your street. Here's the inside of the milkweed pods. And you can eat those. And believe it or not, the fluff that's inside the milkweed actually has better insulating properties than down. And during World War II, they used to send children out to pick the fluff out of the milkweed pods, and they would use that to stuff jackets and sleeping bags and things like that because it's such great insulation. Obviously, you need a whole lot of it, but you know, you get a bunch of kids out there picking, and you should be able to find plenty. You know, maybe make a jacket or a pillow or something like that. But I wanted to show you this book, and I will put the name in the description below and the author so that you have that. But I just wanted to show you a couple of things that I have been out foraging. I wanted to take you outside with me, but the wind is really wicked. Another thing that I have a lot of around me is wild grapes. As you know, the leaves can be eaten. You could stuff them and eat those. But the very tips, the little tendrils that like to attach to everything, those are really good. They're kind of sweet, they're kind of tart, and they really add a nice flavor. I chop them up real little and I put them into salads, and those are really good because you get a little burst of that kind of tart, grapey flavor. Those are excellent too. So anyway, couple things. When you first start foraging, always make sure you have proper identification. You have to be 100% sure what you're eating. Get a good book. If it's your first time eating it, have one bite. On the milkweed, if you think it's milkweed, take one little tiny piece. Put it on your tongue. Let it sit there for a little bit. If your tongue feels funny, it starts to taste metallic-y or something like that, spit it out. If it's not edible, it usually has a pretty bitter, awful taste. There is a dog bane as a look-alike, but once you know proper identification, you don't have to worry about it. And dog bane can make you really sick. So make sure you know what you're identifying. Obviously, if it's full of monarch caterpillars, don't pick the whole plant. Never, ever do I ever pick the whole plant. I might take a couple pieces off the top. Oop, got Forager fingers. Might take a couple pieces off the top, the flowers, the pods, but I leave the plant for the monarch butterflies. Anyway, good thing to learn is free wild foods. It will help your budget. In an emergency situation, you can eat if you're away from home, you get stuck somewhere, or you just want to learn a little bit more about what's out there in our wonderful world that you can't find at the grocery store. Get outside. Pick 2 or 3 plants to learn about, work with them, learn to eat them, and enjoy yourself. Have a wonderful day, everybody.